My wife, Fang Lin, used work as an excuse to back out of our daughter's May Day study tour, telling us not to go either. Seeing my daughter's disappointment, I decided to take her myself. Just as I entered the school grounds, I saw Fang Lin on the main stage, sitting on a sofa with her first love, Chen Banian, and his son. They looked intimately like a family of three. Fang Lin held a microphone, eloquently speaking about achieving a happy family and a successful career, exchanging knowing smiles with Chen Banian from time to time. The audience below applauded enthusiastically. Fang Lin's expression grew increasingly smug, and even the little boy beside her looked arrogant. Soon it was time for questions. I snatched a microphone. "Excuse me, CEO Fang, since when did you have a son? Does your husband know?" The moment I finished speaking, the students and parents seated below began murmuring, casting strange and disdainful glances my way. Who is this guy? So rude. I bet he's jealous of CEO Fang's husband and just wants her attention. CEO Fang runs a company worth tens of billions. It's no surprise a dreamer or two might try to latch onto her as a kept man. How shameless. On the stage, Fang Lin's expression flickered with panic when she saw me, but she hid it well. Chen Banian beside her, however, couldn't keep his composure. Feigning anger and grievance, he asked, "Lin, what does he mean by this?" I ignored him, looking only at Fang Lin. "CEO Fang, you still haven't answered my question." Fang Lin subconsciously brushed a stray hair from her forehead and, in front of everyone, clasped Chen Banian's hand tightly. "This is my answer." Chen Banian looked moved and deepened their embrace without hesitation. The crowd below gasped, "Wow, what true love!" Flaunting their happiness in public. CEO Fang is truly an ideal woman, not only a powerful career woman, but also so devoted to her husband and child. Simply amazing. They looked at me with even greater contempt. Serves him right for trying to stir up trouble between them. Got put in his place. Look at him, a total kept man, daring to compare himself to CEO Fang's husband. Everyone knows her husband holds a key position at Mingjia Group, CEO Fang's right-hand man. How could a loser like this possibly compare? Just then my phone vibrated. It was a message from Fang Lin. "Sheng Yun, don't misunderstand. I promised Banian I'd play mother to Chen Dong for a day. He lost his mother young, the poor thing. But you, instead of listening to me, embarrass me publicly like this. Stop making trouble." A cold sneer escaped my lips. Fang Lin had always been strong-willed, which was why, after marrying her, I had fully supported her career. I arranged for her to become general manager, stabilizing things for her behind the scenes. But now, it seemed she'd forgotten who held the real power. Mingjia Group was founded by my grandfather, and I hold 75% of the shares. I quickly typed messages to Mingjia Group's HR and legal departments on my phone. Today, right here in front of everyone, I was going to strip her of her general manager title. My daughter, Shang Xiao, couldn't stand hearing me insulted and angrily retorted, "What nonsense are you talking? Fang Lin on stage is my mom. My dad is her real husband. That man is the homewrecker." The others instantly burst into laughter, their tone increasingly mocking. Like father, like daughter. So young and already trying to latch onto someone powerful. Such crooked intentions. CEO Fang is showing affection publicly. How could their family of three be fake? Chen Dong, having come down from the stage, rushed over fiercely, glaring at Sheng Xiao. "Who are you calling a homewrecker? You and your dad are crazy desperate to usurp our place, aren't you? Have you no shame?" He raised his hand to strike her, but I decisively intercepted him. My gaze fell on Fang Lin, standing a few steps away. "Fang Lin, I'm giving you one last chance. Aren't you going to explain?" Fang Lin frowned at me, then after a moment, said coldly, "Sir, I don't know you. I have self-restraint, but that doesn't mean I will tolerate you repeatedly slandering my husband and son. Our group's legal team is not to be trifled with." Sheng Xiao, puffed up with anger and disbelief, cried out, "Mom, what are you saying? You don't even recognize Dad and me anymore. Please, say something for Dad and me. Didn't you hear how horribly they're insulting Dad?" The surrounding crowd erupted in laughter. "Little girl, still addicted to acting? Before CEO Fang decides to crush you completely, you'd better drag your dad away. The power of Mingjia Group isn't something little people like you can mess with." Even Sheng Xiao's own classmates started looking at her with disgust. "Sheng Xiao, you're so disgusting. You usually seem so polite and well-read. Who knew you were so rotten inside?" Sheng Xiao grabbed Fang Lin's sleeve, pleading, "Mom, what's wrong with you? Why do you say you don't know us? Please say something for Dad and me. Didn't you hear how horribly they're insulting Dad?" Fang Lin ruthlessly flung her daughter's hand away. The girl stumbled back 2 steps, her face etched with hurt. At the same time, Chun Bonian intertwined his fingers with Fang Lin's, looking at me with undisguised provocation. In that instant, I understood. Chun Bonian knew everything. I immediately reached out and pulled my daughter close. Xiao Xiao, since she refuses to acknowledge you from now on, you don't have to acknowledge her either. As I finished speaking, Fang Lin's brow twitched almost imperceptibly. Moments later, my phone vibrated again. Sheng Yun, I already explained. I'm just being a mother to little Dong for one day. How can you have absolutely no empathy? If I acknowledge your identity, how are Bonian and little Dong supposed to face everyone? How could little Dong even go to school anymore? If you hadn't insisted on making this endless scene, none of this would have happened. You deserve the insults. Now, take your daughter home and reflect on your actions. I couldn't help but sneer again. It seemed sitting in the general manager's chair for too long had made her forget who granted her that power. At this point, the teacher organizing the study tour hurried over to mediate, announcing that the fun-run activity was about to begin. As we walked towards the sports field, Chun Bonian brushed past me, a triumphant smirk on his face. A kept man like you only deserves to be dumped. Only a career-driven man like me is worthy of a successful entrepreneur like Fang Lin. If you know what's good for you, take your little burden and get lost. I scoffed. A career-driven man? Just moments ago, HR had sent me a message. Chun Bonian had only been promoted because Fang Lin pulled strings for him. He didn't even understand the most basic aspects of the business. Apparently, Chun Bonian only knew I was Fang Lin's husband, oblivious to the fact that I am the true helmsman of Mingjia. The company's HR and legal department informed me they had drafted the dismissal letter and divorce agreement and were driving over now. I remained here, refusing to leave, precisely because I wanted to ruthlessly tear apart Fang Lin and Chun Bonian's hypocritical masks in front of everyone, to seek justice for my daughter and myself. Fang Lin and Chun Bonian had been invited to the VIP viewing stand, where school leaders and parents alike were eagerly flattering and fawning over them. Fang Lin held her chin high, wearing an air of superiority, smugness radiating from the corners of her eyes. Meanwhile, Sheng Xiao was already on the running track. She managed a faint smile at me, and I waved to cheer her on. In an instant, disaster struck. Chun Dong suddenly dashed onto Sheng Xiao's track, stuck out his leg, and sent Sheng Xiao, caught completely off guard, tumbling violently forward. I rushed over immediately. My daughter's face was contorted in agony. Large beads of cold sweat dotted her forehead from the pain, and both her knees were bloody and mangled. My heart clenched, yet the culprit wore a look of triumph. Chun Dong laughed gloatingly. Serves you wretched father and daughter right. Let's see if you dare cross us again. Furious, I wanted to land 2 punches on him right then and there, but Fang Lin blocked me, shielding the father and son protectively. Enough. It's just children playing around. Are you, an adult, really going to make a fuss over it? My chest heaved with anger. Playing around? Open your damn eyes and see how much pain she's in. This was clearly intentional assault. Chun Bonian chuckled leisurely, pulled a wad of cash from his wallet, and scattered it over Sheng Xiao, though his gaze was fixed on me. You two went to all this trouble just for money, didn't you? Here's compensation for the injury. Take it and get lost. The surrounding parents had already burst into laughter, looking at my daughter and me with contempt while fawning over Fang Lin and Chun Bonian. See? This is what happens when you offend the rich and powerful. You just have to swallow your grievances. Wasn't it this father and daughter who provoked Director Fang's family first? They brought this on themselves. Even if her leg were broken, they deserve it. Since Director Fang's husband already threw money at you, why don't you just scram? Sheng Xiao was being treated by the school nurse. She looked pleadingly at Fang Lin for help, but Fang Lin turned her head away. Her gaze gradually dimmed. She grasped my hand. Dad, you were right. Starting today, I don't have a mother anymore. Hearing Sheng Xiao's words, Fang Lin frowned almost imperceptibly, then shot me a reproachful look. My gaze flickered past her, moving towards those sycophants who cursed my daughter and me with the most vicious words, those who stepped on the lowly to curry favor with the powerful. I looked at them one by one, naming them individually. The Zhang family in the aluminum alloy business, the Liu family in the cement business, the Meng family in soy product processing. As I calmly and clearly named them one by one, these parents couldn't help but freeze, stunned, because I was correct about every single one. Mingjia Group was involved in a vast range of industries, and they all depended on Mingjia Group's favor for their livelihood. I announced forcefully, starting today, Mingjia Group will terminate all cooperation with you. They were first astonished, then burst into laughter, crowding around Fang Lin. Look everyone, this guy's been driven mad. A moment ago, he claimed to be Director Fang's original husband. Now he's even more absurd, directly representing Mingjia to terminate our contracts. Huh, who the hell do you think you are? Director Fang hasn't even spoken. What crap are you spewing? Someone get the number for a mental hospital and have this guy committed. Fang Lin's eyes grew darker, her face turning grim. She took a step forward and whispered to me, Sheng Yun, I've already secured my position at Mingjia. Do you really think you can stir up any trouble? Do you even have any say anymore? Hurry up and get lost. Go home. I gave her a meaningful look, but didn't answer her. Instead, I turned towards those mocking me and towards Chun Banian. Everyone has gotten one thing wrong. It's true that Fang Lin is the general manager of Mingjia Group, but I am the one who calls the shots. Chun Banian was first startled, then laughed until tears streamed down his face. I'm afraid he's really lost his mind. I've worked at Mingjia Group for so long, and I only know my wife is the general manager. As for this lunatic, I've never even seen him. He probably doesn't even know which way the group's main entrance faces. I just smiled without saying anything, because my people were arriving soon. With Chun Bonian's position, his access was limited to the 10th floor of the group's building. How would he ever have seen me on the 35th floor? Although others were laughing along, Fang Lin alone was not. Her gaze towards me could only be described as venomous. I knew it was because she was afraid. Just then, my daughter's phone rang. As soon as she answered, she let out a sharp scream. Ah, as if struck by immense trauma. The voice from the speaker blared. So young yet so rotten, staging accidents with your freeloading dad. Truly shameless. I hurriedly hung up, only then realizing someone had posted today's incident online. Worse still, someone had fabricated lies, distorting the fact to slander my daughter and me, even publishing her phone number in school. My gaze swept towards Chun Banian. He was looking at me provocatively, a smirk playing on his lips as he mouthed the words. A gift for you. Do you like it? My daughter began trembling all over. An overwhelming flood of abuse continued unabated online, and one cyberbullying call after another came in. Those parents eager to impress Fang Lin surrounded my daughter and me, spewing harsh insults and vicious curses. See, the eyes of the masses are sharp. You two deserve to rot in a stinking ditch. Daring to impersonate a Mingjia Group executive? Just wait to be sued into bankruptcy. Mingjia's legal department is notoriously tough. You won't even have a place to cry later, because you'll lose your house. Someone smirked and winked mockingly. Isn't that simple? This guy looks like a pretty boy. Maybe he can crawl into some rich old woman's bed, then he'll have a place to cry. Just then, two high-end black business vehicles roared up. Someone sharp-eyed couldn't help shouting. That's the Mingjia Group logo. An executive is here. Those lackeys looked as if they shared in the glory, closing in on my daughter and me step by step, their mouths opening and closing like venomous snakes revealing their fangs. You two are completely finished now. Director Fang is truly formidable. Her warning wasn't just talk. She's getting serious. You'll lose everything, down to your underwear. Someone else raised their phone, their eyes glinting with a predatory light as they looked at us. Netizens, here's the follow-up to the trending story about the gigolo scamming the female CEO. Quick, follow me. I'll livestream it for you. Watch the tycoon take down the overconfident average Joe. Chun Banian gazed deeply at Fang Lin, his face lit with surprise, but when he turned back to me, the arrogance and triumph were unconcealed. Chun Dong beside him was even more puffed up with pride. A flicker of surprise crossed Fang Lin's face, dark currents swirling in her eyes. Her voice squeezed through clenched teeth. You called him here? Do you really have to push things this far? I raised an eyebrow, a chill spreading in my gaze, but before I could speak, Chun Banian addressed the crowd, head held high with pride. Sheng Yun, see that? That's Mingjia's legal team. They've never lost a case. Today, you and your daughter first spread rumors and caused trouble, then shamelessly impersonated company personnel. You'll be leaving here on your knees. At this, he was immensely pleased with himself. I called them here. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Personnel and legal had just reported this matter to me. Fang Lin looked at Chun Banian in disbelief. But Chun Banian merely gave her a flirtatious wink, utterly oblivious to her already taught expression. Alin, I know you've wanted to deal with him for a long time. I've set everything up for you. Fang Lin's eyes widened in shock, curses rising to her lips, just as the group emerging from the business van walked straight past me, heading directly towards her and Chun Banian. They bowed respectfully, President Fang. We received word from Assistant Chun and came here to handle a matter concerning damage to the company's reputation. Fang Lin visibly relaxed, a triumphant look in her eyes as she glanced back at me. It's these two. Deal with them properly. The sycophantic parents watching spared no effort in their mockery. What a truly overconfident man. Didn't you say you called the shots at Mingjia Group? Go on, say something. See if these people listen to you. Look how arrogant he was just now. Served him right getting slapped down like that. Ha! Lawyer Lu walked towards me, his eyes contemptuous, but his tone sharp. Sir, damaging the reputation of Mingjia Group entails compensation starting at no less than $1 million. Here is the lawyer's letter. I looked at him with a half-smile and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, from the moment you arrived here, you were fired. The group's chief legal counsel had already informed me, and I had told him not to intervene, to let Lu make his own choice. Let these little minions hoping to hitch their wagons to Fang Lin and Chun Bonian come forward. It was a perfect opportunity for me to clean house all at once. He's crazy. The man's completely lost it. Mingjia Group's lawyers are already here, and he's still cosplaying as the chairman. What's the use of pretending to be crazy? Didn't you hear? Compensation starts at $1 million. I bet he doesn't even have 100,000. Just wait till you end up in jail. Fang Lin walked up to me, her eyes glinting with triumph and arrogance. The lawyer's letter has been issued. The lawsuit won't be far behind. Pretending to be crazy won't help you then. I don't like to bully people, but the reputation of the group and my husband cannot be tarnished. As long as you admit, in front of everyone in the live cameras, that everything today was done with malicious intent and apologize to Bonian, I can let bygones be bygones. Then, she added in a voice only I could hear, Sheng Yun, this is the last chance I'm giving you to back down gracefully. Don't be foolish. Do you see anyone in the group who still listens to you? I retorted bluntly. Fang Lin, you really are shameless. You know perfectly well what the truth is. The lackeys began to fume. President Fang is magnanimous, but this mad dog doesn't deserve it. Sue him into bankruptcy. Who let this mad dog bark and bite wildly? Yes, sue him till he's finished. Just then, a dozen stretch Lincoln limousines pulled up one after another at the school gate, occupying nearly half the street. Oh my God, what is going on? Am I dreaming about this spectacle? This. First time in my life seeing anything like this. Car doors opened in unison, and figures in imposing bespoke suits stepped out, radiating authority. The sycophants who had been besieging me moments ago now stared wide-eyed, faces etched with shock. That's Mingjia's chief operating officer. He was just on a financial channel a couple of days ago. That's Mingjia's chief legal counsel. I heard he's a Harvard top graduate who made his name internationally with a transnational lawsuit right after graduating. I've seen that person at an international forum. He's a renowned expert in talent management. Heavens, what day is it today? How can I be seeing so many titans? President Fang must have called them to back up Mr. Chun. Chun Bonian, initially dazed, began to tremble with excitement upon hearing this. Alin, you did all this for me? I'm so moved. I couldn't suppress the curve of my lips into a sarcastic smile. With Fang Lin's qualifications, she wasn't even worthy of carrying these people's shoes. How could she possibly summon them? Fang Lin stared intently at me, her hands unconsciously clenching into fists. Chun Bonian, oblivious, excitedly pulled her hand and quickly adjusted his collar. Fang Lin quickly introduced me to them. Dragged by Chun Bonian, Fang Lin approached this group of elites, forcing her most decorous smile. What brings you all here for a visit today? The group completely ignored them, leaving Fang Lin and Chun Bonian's eager expressions frozen in awkwardness. The chief legal counsel walked straight towards me. Chairman, everything you requested is here. That single word, chairman, struck like a sudden clap of thunder. The surrounding parents and teachers looked utterly bewildered. Chairman? Who's the chairman? Did I hear that right? These titans, people you only see on TV, are calling this mad dog chairman. Their expressions became increasingly difficult to read. How was that possible? There must be some mistake. Chun Bonian watched as the figures usually high above him treated me with utmost respect, his face stiffening. Fang Lin's gaze was locked onto me, her temples throbbing. And Lawyer Lu, who had been brandishing the documents so arrogantly before me just moments ago, now held them with trembling fingers, his voice shaking. Chief, why are you here? The chief legal counsel, standing beside me, gave him a sidelong glance. Don't call me chief, because as of today, you're no longer part of Mingjia Group's legal team. Lawyer Lu looked close to tears. What did I do wrong? You serve a lawyer's letter on the boss himself. and you asked what you did wrong. When Lawyer Liu looked at me again, his expression was one of sheer terror. In that instant, it was as if everyone finally woke from a dream. So he really is the chairman of Mingjia Group. My God, how is that possible? After reviewing the documents I'd just received, I scanned the room and nodded. My assistant immediately understood. The prominent media outlets he had brought quickly set up their equipment, cameras poised. Then, a massive backdrop was swiftly unveiled. Emblazoned upon it were the words, Mingjia Group Press Conference. At this point, some of those who had hurled insults at me were already breaking out in a cold sweat, looking to sneak away. I had the security guards quickly form a perimeter. A smirk played on my lips. Don't you enjoy a good show? This is just getting started. Stay and watch the whole thing before you leave. The small business owners I called out were utterly stunned. They exchanged glances, then, gritting their teeth, dropped to their knees with a thump before me, wailing, Chairman Sheng, please be magnanimous. We were blind fools who failed to recognize your stature. We're just small businesses. Please, spare us this once. My gaze swept over them, finally settling on the faces of Fang Lin and Chen Banian. No need to rush. One at a time. Raising the microphone to my lips, I addressed the cameras. Today, news concerning Mingjia Group has dominated the trending topics, including some unfounded rumors. As chairman of Mingjia Group, I have called this press conference specifically to set the record straight. First, it has been rumored online that I deliberately caused trouble to seduce Fang Lin, with some even calling me a homewrecker trying to climb the social ladder. But the truth is, Fang Lin had an affair with Chen Banian and then tried to slander me. At this point, I deliberately presented our marriage certificate, mine and Fang Lin's. As the bright red certificate booklet was magnified on the screens, everyone was stunned. There really is a marriage certificate. My God, I can't believe someone would dare to brazenly bring their lover to an event and publicly display affection. No wonder Sheng Yun confronted them in public. We jumped to conclusions and misunderstood him. It's all the fault of that shameless pair, Fang Lin and Chen Banian. When the people present looked at Fang Lin now, the earlier admiration was gone, replaced only by deep revulsion. The media, meanwhile, zoomed their cameras directly onto Fang Lin and Chen Banian for tight close-ups. Chen Banian frantically tried to cover his face, shouting, "Stop filming! You're violating my personality rights." He wanted to hide, to flee, but my security guard were no pushovers. Until this press conference was over, no one was leaving. Fang Lin, flushed with shame and anger, strode towards me. Enough! Sheng Yun, this is our private affair. Get these media vultures out of here. Do you hear me? She shrieked, threatening viciously. If you keep this nonsense up, I'll divorce you. I leisurely savored Fang Lin's impotent fury as I took the divorce agreement, handed to me by the group's chief legal officer. Then I slammed it onto Fang Lin's face, stating word by deliberate word, I'll grant your wish. From this day forward, the Sheng family expels you, a traitorous woman who bites the hand that feeds her. A stunned, almost frozen expression appeared on Fang Lin's face. She slowly raised a hand to grasp the divorce papers. A single glance was enough before she roared at me. What? Leave with nothing? Impossible. Before I could speak, the chief legal counsel beside me stated matter-of-factly, if you have any objections, I am prepared to face you in court at any time. However, to date, no one has ever won a case against me. I nodded in approval and picked up the microphone again. Second, today before everyone, I am terminating Fang Lin from her position as general manager and Chen Banian from his position as special assistant. Effective immediately, Mingjia Group will never employ either of them again. This press conference was being broadcast live, synchronized across all the major digital billboards on high-traffic buildings throughout the city. As I spoke, pedestrians at intersections across the city stopped in their tracks to watch. A citywide live broadcast of Fang Lin getting kicked out. Chairman Sheng really lives up to his title at Mingjia Group. What a power move. So satisfying to watch. Serves the scheming bitch right. She only got where she is because of her husband. Now she tries to bite the hand that fed her and got put in her place, haha. The next moment, Fang Lin's hysterical face filled the large screens. I've done so much for this company. I refuse to accept this. On what grounds can you fire me just like that? I am a general manager. My gaze was glacial, my tone leaving no room for argument. I've told you before, at Mingjia Group, what I say goes. When I tell you to get out, you get out. The HR expert behind me added promptly. During her tenure as general manager of Mingjia Group, Ms. Fang Lin engaged in nepotism and embezzled company funds. The evidence is conclusive. Not only is the company terminating her employment, but we will also be pursuing relevant legal action. As for Mr. Chun Banian, he is utterly incompetent, a complete amateur in business matters. His entire advancement was solely due to his relationship with Fang Lin. Gasps rippled through the crowd, punctuated by clicks of disapproval. So the so-called general manager only got the job because she married into a wealthy family, and the so-called special assistant climbed the ladder by being a homewrecker. And they had the nerve to publicly claim they were successful career elites. Look at what this despicable pair has done. Do they act like people with any sense of shame? These words struck Fang Lin and Chen Banian like successive slaps to the face. Fang Lin's eyes were bloodshot with fury. Chen Banian's face was deathly pale. He grabbed Fang Lin's arm impatiently. Lin, think. What are we going to do? We've lost all face. How can Chen Dong and I show our faces in public after this? Fang Lin responded with a merciless slap across his face. Losing control completely in front of everyone, she shrieked, "If you hadn't whined every day about how your child never felt a mother's love, begging me to be a mother to Chen Dong just for one day, would any of this have happened? And you have the gall to ask me what to do." Fang Lin rained curses and blows down on Chen Banian, punching and kicking him furiously. Chen Banian cried out in pain. Chen Dong rushed forward, trying to shield him. "Don't hit my dad." The situation reversed, with Fang Lin now being beaten by Chen Banian and his son. She ended up black and blue, with a broken arm. But no one intervened. Everyone watched with the detached interest of spectators at a drama. Talk about dogs biting dogs, and Fang Lin pretending to be a mother, as if the kid even acknowledges her. Better if they beat each other to death. They're all scum, unworthy of living. I watched coldly as they brutally attacked each other, then raised the microphone once more. This isn't over yet. Now for the third matter. I intend to hold accountable everyone who spread rumors and engage in online harassment against my daughter and me today. My legal team has already gathered all the necessary evidence. The primary culprit behind this is none other than Chen Banian. From the doctor videos that were uploaded to the comments steering the narrative, he is inextricably linked to all of it. The legal team played the collected evidence item by item. The proof was irrefutable. This man is just too vicious, one scheme linked to another, clearly trying to wipe them out completely. Too bad he messed with the wrong person. He's finished this time. Everyone knows how formidable Mingjia's legal dream team is, especially with such solid evidence. He'll probably lose everything. My God, this is satisfying. A real-life example of evil getting its just deserts. Serves him right. Chen Banian finally knew true fear, his body instinctively trembling like a leaf. He seemed to realize he was facing ruinous compensation, scrambling and stumbling towards me, pleading pitifully, I was wrong, Sheng Yun, please forgive me. I'll apologize, I'll make amends." I looked down at him contemptuously, then kicked him away with all my might. "Get lost. Don't dirty my shoes." Raising my eyes again, my gaze landed, sharp as steel, on those sycophants who had flattered the powerful and trampled the weak, viciously cursing and insulting my daughter and me. Now it's your turn. Today, anyone who slandered my daughter and me, every single one of them, would not escape. The moment I finished speaking, these lackeys fell to their knees at my feet, utterly terrified. They looked panic-stricken. "You are magnanimous. Please spare us. Give us a way out." Having said that, they began kowtowing forcefully, their heads thudding against the floor. But in my eyes, this was merely submission born of the fact that I held more power than they did, a surrender based on self-interest. I signaled my assistant, who immediately followed my instructions and played the copied school surveillance footage. This video quickly spread across the entire internet. In the footage, they were shown with gaping mouths, their vile expressions clear, seemingly deaf and blind to Sheng Xiaoxiao's explanations and distress, focused only on fawning over Fang Lin and Chen Banian. The world's most venomous curses, the most despicable sexual slander, poured from their mouths. They used words as weapons, relentlessly attacking my daughter and me. In my view, they were utterly undeserving of forgiveness. I picked up a thick stack of contract termination documents and flung them unceremoniously onto them. My voice was like ice, like jade. "Do you remember what I said? From this day forward, Mingjia Group will never cooperate with any of you again." They looked up at me, lips trembling, eyes filled with shattered despair. Losing cooperation with Mingjia Group in this city meant corporate bankruptcy and industry-wide blacklisting. When they tried to approach me again to beg, security guards had already dragged them away without mercy. At this very moment, the top 3 trending topics online were starkly displayed. Hashtag Mingjia Group Chairman Sheng Yun kicks out scumbag husband hashtag. Hashtag Fang Lin fired live as Mingjia Group General Manager hashtag. Hashtag Chimbonian lead cyberbullying home and have it backfire spectacularly hashtag. Though the press conference was declared over, the matter was far from finished. Mingjia Group's legal team would file lawsuits against Fang Lin, Chimbonian, and the other online attackers. The judgment of the law awaited them. A few days later, Fang Lin intercepted my car with my daughter inside. One of her arms was in a cast, half her hair had turned white, and she was so thin she was almost unrecognizable. Husband, I was wrong. I've completely broken things off with Chimbonian. Give me one more chance, please? Let's remarry, okay? I recoiled from her grasp in disgust. Get lost. She then sidled up to Sheng Xiao, putting on a pitiful act. Xiao, look at the state your mother is in. Don't you feel sorry? Help me talk to your father. We're a family. Sheng Xiao looked at her coldly. From that day on, I no longer have a mother. You should go. Fang Lin froze. In that instant, her face seemed to shatter like porcelain, etched with the panicked helplessness of losing her last straw. I called security. From now on, if you see this person near the villa, beat her up every time you see her. Fang Lin was thrown out wretchedly, like a stray dog. Soon, the court convened. Fang Lin was sentenced to several years for crimes related to her position. Chimbonian was held accountable and fined for spreading rumors and cyberbullying. Gossip travels fast, even reaching the prison. Fang Lin's actions were despised there too. She was secretly tormented and fell gravely ill shortly after arriving. I heard she's barely human anymore. All of Chimbonian's assets were frozen, yet it still wasn't enough to cover the compensation. He became a blacklisted debtor. His son had no choice but to withdraw from the elite private school. After transferring to a regular school, due to the widely publicized news incident, Chimbonian was constantly targeted by rumors and gossip. Gradually, his mind became increasingly twisted, and he blamed everything on his father. He roared hysterically. If it weren't for you, how would I have ended up like this? It's all your fault, driven by your vanity. It's all your fault. Son, I did it all for you. I always thought Fang Lin was a real entrepreneur, so I used our past relationship as high school sweethearts to seduce her. If we, father and son, could climb up, it would mean astronomical wealth. Who knew? Who knew? Stop using me as an excuse. Do you know what people at school call me? They say I'm the son of a mistress, a stinking loach from the gutter. Everyone looks at me with strange, contemptuous eyes. When I try to talk to them, they avoid me like I'm garbage. Chimbonian's eyes were bloodshot, his expression contorted, looking at his father as if he were an enemy. It's all your fault. If you hadn't been the other man, I wouldn't be like this. Chimbonian listened to his son's tearful, blood-curdling accusations, tears streaming down his face. The next second, the cold glint of metal reflected deep in his pupils. It's all your fault. All your fault. Warm blood trickled down the knife handle. Utterly despairing, Chimbonian's last word was, dong dong. Well, I heard about this tragic news story. My daughter and I were vacationing in the sunny Maldives. I had already promised my daughter that I would never get married again in this lifetime. I would carry on the glory of my forefathers, further expanding the company, and then pass it into her hands.